Well, then the shop was full again. How did this happen? Let's get a look around because things have changed a bit. So no more Imola Red. There's still one out front. That's the one I'm driving home, Imola. Trying to get the OBD readiness for a smog check. It's got Tennessee plates. He wants to do California plates. So 545, this went up in the air earlier today, and the rest of the heat shields went on. We had to take the exhaust system back off. Those are the heat shields that kind of cover up the whole flex disc and drive line. And I was noticing there was more heat than I was comfortable with right here. So that needed to be done before we drive the car anymore. And there we go, got it open. Obviously this thing needs a good bath, but we've got 12 codes in here. I'm going to call the customer tomorrow, see how far he wants us to go down that rabbit hole. And we're getting to the point where they're dumb codes. About 5 of them are just dumb remnants of modules complaining about communication because now the car is a manual. I've coded everything a million times. It's just going to complain about it. Everything works. It's not important. There's just like code stored. The ones that we can fix, there is a fan motor, did you know, in the HVAC panel right here. And that must have died because there's a code stored for it. Fan module is like $130, and I'd have to rip the dash apart to get that out, but it is certainly possible for us to replace that. Then we've got the sign module, the thing we just did on this car the other day. It's the beeper modules back here behind the bumper. The batteries are dead in that, so we can do that. In fact, I printed a screenshot of this and wrote a bunch of notes on it. AUC sensor needs to be done. That heated seat on the right side, we're going to inspect the wiring, but I don't think there's anything we can do there. He doesn't want to do the ACC. Yeah, that's where we are in that. So we're really getting close. That should be the next car out. We tried to take it for smog today. It says the O2 and air intake readiness is not yet ready, so more driving is required. It has a Dynon tune on it. That's why the throttle's super crazy sensitive, but it has passed California smog with this tune before. Then we've got Le Mans, and this car needs the seat cables for the driver's seat. We've attempted to fix the seat, but the cables are just dicked. So the guy's out of town. We're trying to figure out how we can get the cables from him to then take the seat back out and attempt cable replacement. This car, the passenger seat is out because the tensioner has a code. Today we finally got the tensioner in. In fact, I just moved it to show you that other paperwork. Tomorrow, I'll have them put the tensioner on the seat, put it back in the car, see if the airbag light goes away. Assuming it does, this car gets a quick spray wax and will be on its way to Orlando, Florida. The E60, what have we done here? So it got window tint yesterday. Same exact tint my car has. That's Lumar Formula One Stratos, 35% on front windows, rear windshield, obviously. Front windshield is the air film. It's a 70 or 80% tint applied to the inside, nothing on the sunroof. Sorry, I had to take a call. So tint is done, car's back. Obviously, we pulled the mirrors today. To take the mirrors off, you got to take the door panels off. Taking the door panels off, we found that the shop that did all the paint work broke about 3/4 of the plastic clips that go in, just real sloppy. You know, you line them up, when the peg starts to go in the hole, you just whack it and it snaps into place. Many of them were just bent completely sideways, so they weren't lined up, and they're just beating the door panel, breaking all the clips off. So I ordered new clips. They showed up today. I'm not going to bother putting them on until we get the mirrors back. This is the mirror that's just getting paint and new glass. That mirror is getting replaced and using the old glass. The mirrors will be dropped off tomorrow morning for paint. We hope to have them back next week. The glass is many weeks away. We'll just keep reusing the old one. There's nothing wrong with it. In other news, it got an oil change yesterday. I reset the CBS data today. No more surprise codes coming up. And I did put the door panels back on just because I don't want airbag lights and speaker codes, and there's probably voltage monitoring on these puddle lamps down here, and it would just complain about everything. So looks really weird without mirrors. We're not driving it quite yet anyway, so that's okay. 5:30, I need to talk to the owner and see if he wants to proceed with an MPI or just willy-nilly it or see what's going on. Sepang, all new brakes today, pads, rotors, set screws, wear sensors all the way around with the Zimmerman rotors. Old rotors were shot, rear pads were shot, front pads had about half-life, but he wanted to just do it all. We got a lot of the manual parts today, the manual conversion parts today, probably 2/3 to 3/4. So that'll give us a real nice start tomorrow to get going on that. We're going to be putting unicorn eggs in the front mounts whenever they show up, which is hopefully tomorrow. The rear mount will be a factory bushing, which is up there. It's a really expensive mount, and it's not going to be pleasant to do. Flywheel was on the other day. Now the clutch kit is on, which is nice. So we're going to be ready to potentially get the transmission on tomorrow. Here's our new throwout bearing. Here's all the parts for that car. My favorite is when they just take all the parts they have in stock and throw them in a bag and then let me figure out what they are. It has really helped me learn hardware. It used to annoy the hell out of me. Now I kind of enjoy the puzzle because I can look at this and pretty much tell you what everything in here is. It's sick. And here's our diff mount. Is this a new one or an old one? God, they don't even look that. How did it get so dirty? They must have handled it with gloves. Yeah, this is going to be the new one, and I'm not sure how that's going to go in there because that's significantly bigger than the hole. So wish Gary and Mike good luck. Pretty much anything you do on an E60 M5, you've got to remove what they call the stiffening plate. And this is exactly what it sounds like. It's a plate that goes on under the engine. It bolts onto the subframe using torque to yield bolts. It's something like 39 pounds of torque plus 90 degrees. So you have to replace those 5 bolts every time, and the nuts about every 4th time because they don't hold up very well. So that adds like $30 in parts every time you take this thing down. And it is oh so dirty, so we'll be sure to get that cleaned up for him. And then my car, I found an app that tells you how many times the DME has been flashed. And that's useful because there's a limit to BMW DMEs. You can't just flash them every day and make little changes. They put a limit on that flash number. I don't know exactly what it is, but I found out I have 26 left. If I have 26 flashes left, my guess is you could probably flash it between 40 and 50 times from new. I know there were several updates performed at various BMW dealerships, and then myself, I flashed it to Shark 93 octane. Then I flashed it back to factory, assuming that counts as another one. Then I flashed to 91 octane. And then I had to do all of that again when I did some custom programming on the DME. But I've got 26 left, and that's after coding sport mode memory on, so I'm not too worried about it. It's the end of Thursday. I've been inside having dinner. I cleaned up my room and vacuumed in there, like under furniture and in between the nightstand and the wall and stuff like that for the first time in way too long. Cleaned the fan blades, wiped down the mirrors. Adulting is very fun. Then came down, did a bunch of research on this Sepang manual conversion. This is the first full LCI 2008 car plus that we've done the conversion on. And one of the big changes is the A169 module, the center console switch. On the early cars, like my dad's and the other conversions, it's a row of buttons, just like the E39, heated seats on the outside, and PDC and MDM mode, replacing the RDC button. The 08 Plus, they went to vertical stacks, 2 switches, one on the left, one on the right. And the left one changes for the manual. I'm assuming it adds MDM and maybe replaces something else, I'm not sure. But you can plug the switch in, but then you have to go behind the dash to where the actual logic for the switch is and repin it and figure out where the wires go. And I'm not really looking forward to that. That's going to be a bunch of, I suppose, pioneering that I've never done before to figure it out. Yeah, I can do it. It's just going to take a bunch of time. So we got good progress done today, as you saw on that car. More tomorrow. I need to get mine cleaned up. I deferred it last week, so that'll be a little bit of time tomorrow. I'm doing laundry right now. Got to move the bath mats over to the dryer, and then I'm going to sleep. Talk to you guys tomorrow on Friday.